in them after this game.
For sure. 100%.
All right. I think next we're going to go and talk about Cowboys Broncos in this game.
Oh, buddy. Let's go.
Or did you get chat, or are you just saying because they lost?
Oh, because they took the L, bro.
Yeah, they took a huge L, but you know what? Personally, whoever lost this game, I was going to be happy after the way the Giants choked last week to the Broncos, but I'll take the Cowboys losing. The Broncos had a bit of a slow start, but they bounced back to a 44-24 win. RJ Harvey, 3-touchdown breakout game. You'll love to see that for anyone who took him in fantasy. The Broncos are now 6-2. The Cowboys are in free fall at 3-4-1. They're a half a game away from being 3-5. And there's other games they could have won. And they're also a half a game away from being 500. But either way, you know, when it comes to being a top 10 team or something like that, that is in complete peril for them. Some notes from Joey, even though he's not here. He wanted me to say this. He said, the Cowboys defense is the worst in the league, 32nd out of 32nd. He said it's unwatchable. And he said there's no clear path to fix that dog shit sorry defense. I agree. I don't think there's a clear path, even trading for a guy like Max Crosby. And this is why we criticize the Micah Parsons trade, because you go all in with Pickens, and then you trade your premier edge rusher on a defense that has, you know, not great secondary depth. You don't have Diggs or like either of your starting safeties now, and just
they are drastically hurt. I'll give them that 100%. And Parsons is not, I don't feel like, as big of a piece that we thought was going to be on that Packers defense than we thought. But also,
he did
like,
have 3 sacks last week.
Yeah. But also, was that not against the Cardinals?
Yeah, that was
and Jacoby Brissett.
They were a pretty good team against the Colts too. I mean, I think it's going to be like the Josh Dobbs thing from last year or 2 years ago, where like they're a good team for like 2 weeks, and then like the astronaut, the formula gets pasted on how to beat them, and then that doesn't work anymore. But for 2 games, they're pretty hard to stop.
Yeah,
I mean, we see the Colts. They look like a respectable team. Obviously, they have best record in the AFC, but no, that's neither here nor there. You're trying to make the point that, losing Micah, he wasn't great against the run, and Joey would say that.
100%.
You need to run at him, and that's how you stop it. But I do think on the Packers, a team that has good run defense, unlike the Cowboys, it could be more manageable, because you could put him in on like third down, or like, put him off the ball as a linebacker, just something different, instead of relying on him as your starting defensive end, which the Cowboys were. But still, they would have better chance in these games with him, I'd say, for sure, But either way, Bo Nix, 4 passing touchdowns. Dobbins, RJ Harvey had a long touchdown run, 2 on the ground, and then he had 1 through the air, 5-yard receiving catch. And the Broncos defense was pretty solid, holding the Cowboys to 4 for 11 on third down. The Cowboys did win and own time of possession, so that really just goes to show you they only had 5 yards per play compared to the Broncos' 7.5. So the whole best offense versus best defense in the league thing kind of shaped out like the best defense, especially with a competent offense, is going to win that game. And I picked the Cowboys to win, but I wouldn't say I was super confident that was the case.
I mean, overall, to me, it's just one of those things. For example, I know Joey would be here talking about how great Dak is, but in reality, if you like, Hurts has less interceptions as Dak Prescott right now. This dude threw 2 this game.
He did throw.
This dude was completely off. They sat the whole offense with 5 minutes left, and it's like and then Joe Milton, that next drive, scores a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming the Broncos were probably
a lot passive and everything like that. Yeah. They weren't probably playing like, but I guess my question is like, the offense is elite, but now it's one of those things where it's like, how, I guess, do you allow yourself as the offense, who's like basically the only thing that's going to hold this team up, to like put yourself in a predicament where you are having your defense, who can't keep up, coming like to those situations. Like those 2 Dak throws were complete errors. Yeah,
Yeah.
like both like were complete errors. That was no like it bounced off the hands. Because of course I will give him the benefit of the doubt if it bounces off the hands or if it got tipped or whatever the case is. But there was absolutely like no to the defense. Like that's all I could think about.
Yeah.
Like when I saw both interceptions, it was like it was not anything close. And that's where I wonder, like, they say like Dak's so premier, but for example, like Scott, in reality, they could see each other in the playoffs if they went to the Super Bowl together, even though the Cowboys might never make it. But like, you know what I mean? It's one of
Yeah.
those things where it's like that is like a playoff matchup right there.
That's a
And
playoff
that is
team. That's two playoff teams right there. And
right,
that's and
exactly.
we see this outcome with the Cowboys.
Every time.
And without any massive move on this defense, I said that this is my thing with this Cowboys team is 1 week they're gonna look like they have this unstoppable offense. But the thing is if you're playing from behind and you're averaging 5 yards per play, like that's not like an inevitable offense. You know what I mean? I get it's the best defense in football, but I mean this is a Broncos team that last week allowed 19 points to the Giants in a shutout through 3 quarters, and the Giants 26 and then 32 or 31 by the end of the game. It was a crazy game. We know that, but it just goes to show you that like the Giants defense is not that good. It's not. It has a lot of like ceiling performance. Like it could have a really good game or it could have a really bad game. We saw that in the difference 3 quarters to the fourth. But if our defense was able to do enough to give us a shot in a game versus the Broncos, and now you see 44-24 because, if Dak makes those 2 errors, this is how these Cowboys games are going to go. But if he doesn't make those 2 errors, then, let's just say they were 14, a 14-point swing both times. Let's just assume they would score. It would be, which is kind of crazy, right? That's like best case scenario. But it would be 37-31, and then it would be 38-30. So it's like that's kind of like if Dak played a perfect game, they would have won based on that projection. But because he didn't, this team of the Cowboys got blown out. So I'm definitely not gonna like completely blame Dak because the offense still moved the ball and like got down the field and scored. It was just obviously spotty, and the 2 picks just completely ruined any chance they had to win the game. So they're 3-4-1 now, and